Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Andrew Watt. I'm your District Program Quality Director, and I am hosting tonight's event. In just a moment, we're going to have our key presenter for the evening, Jennifer Simaluka, come on. But before we began, I figured that I would say thank you to all of you who've decided to join us tonight. And I really appreciate that you have chosen to be on tonight's call. I know that there are many demands on your time, many other places that you could be, and I appreciate that you've come on tonight in order to learn how to run a contest at the division or area level. Our presenter this evening is Jennifer Simaluka. Jennifer is this year's District Chief Judge. She's been reviewing the rules extensively since the rules were published for this year. She was involved in pushing back the schedule to accommodate some of the changes that we had to make. She is a member of Middlesex County Toastmasters and Advanced, I'm not going to get this right, Connecticut Advanced Shoreline Toastmasters. I've missed something. Connecticut Shoreline Advanced Toastmasters. And I have known Jennifer for a number of years now. She's been involved for at least as long as I have, and I joined in August of 2013. She's a phenomenal presenter. She understands the rule book backwards and forwards, and it is my great pleasure to introduce her to you tonight. Jennifer?
Andrew, thank you very much for that introduction. I'm going to share my screen here.
I'm going to make you the organizer.
Okay.
And you have control, and you should be able to present whenever you wish. Ta-da!
And the audio dropped, but it came back. And are you seeing my screen?
I am seeing your screen.
Fantastic.
At the start of other webinars, we have done a brief check-in to remind people how to use the tools, and if you will give me a moment, I'll do that. All of you who are on the call should have a number of tools available to you. You should see next to your name or near your name a little icon that looks like a hand with an arrow under it. And if you would take a moment to press that button, that is your way of raising your hand in the event that you have a serious question that has to be answered live. So take a moment and put your hand up. I have a button, and so does Jennifer, that we can put everybody's hand down all at the same time. I see that we've got about 50% of people have gotten their hands raised. Excellent. I'm going to put everybody's hand down now. There is also a chat window where you can send messages either to us as the organizers or to the presenters, where you should be able to send messages to other people that are on the call. You can type in questions or comments exactly like it was a text window. There is also a pane for asking specifically a question of us, the organizer. You can list whether you would like that question to be anonymous or not. And at various times, Jennifer will pause during her presentation. I will present the questions that have come in where the questioner wishes to remain anonymous. And if you don't mind your name appearing in the chat log, I will send answers or responses to those questions as text messages to everyone on tonight's call. I think those are the key tools, and with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jennifer. Jennifer, did we lose you? Jennifer? Please bear with us while we see if we can resolve some of Jennifer's issues. It appears that she has
I
dropped.
am back.
Excellent,
I
excellent.
don't know what happened there. I am so sorry. So, as I was saying, I was an area director last year, and I did a traveling fair bit around the district last year because I was the chief judge for 3 area contests, 3 division contests, and I was a voting judge in a 4th division. I worked closely with a lot of contest chairs and last year's district chief judge, August Wolf. I saw a lot, I learned a lot, and I'm very glad to be sharing some of that with you tonight and over the next several months to come. So tonight's agenda. Some facts, what you'll need as your contest season rolls out, resources that Toastmasters in the district have provided for you, lessons that I've learned along the way, and most important of all, answers to the questions that you have. So the facts. We are in club contest season. That runs from October 1st, ends on the 30th of November. Next up is the area. We've got 3 months for the area contest from the 1st of December to the 29th of February. Got it.
Jennifer's connection appears to be having some audio trouble.
And I am back. I don't know why that is happening. So we've got the international and the evaluation contests. What you will need to have your location squared away fairly soon, actually, and posted on the district website. That should be posted here on this page. Whoops. The division and area schedule. And the district webmaster, Michael Friedlander, has sent you instructions to get these posted.
Additionally, you can submit them to me, or you can submit them to your division director. We all have login codes. If you're uncomfortable doing it, please let us know and we will assist you.
You'll need contestants, and the club should be providing you with the notification of contest winner forms for the club contests. And after the area contests, the area directors will submit that same form onto the division level. You'll need voting judges. You will need to make sure that your voting judges are each eligible. And let me show you what those eligibility requirements are. To be a chief judge, voting judge, or tie-breaking judge at a Toastmasters speech contest, at an area division or district contest, be a paid member for a minimum of 6 months, have completed a minimum of 6 project speeches in the Competent Communication Manual, or completed level 1
Level 1 or level 2 of any path in the Toastmasters learning experience.
Yes. And this one should be pretty straightforward. Be physically present at the contest for which you are serving. Those are the requirements, eligibility requirements for a judge. Now, for how many you will need, We'll go to the rule book. And for area contests, you will need an equal number of voting judges from each club in the area, or a minimum of 5. At the division level, an equal number of voting judges from each area in the division, or a minimum of 7. And very important at the area and division level, or I should say at the division level, no chief judge, voting judge, or tie-breaking judge can be a member of any club in which a contestant is a member. So when you're looking for your voting judges for your division contests, you have to look not only at eligibility, but club affiliation.
And that can be particularly difficult for people who are members of multiple clubs. I have to be very careful about that because I'm a member of 3 clubs.
Yes.
We do have a question. The 7
yes.
minimum at area or division still applies if not all clubs or areas have sent contestants?
Correct. It's clubs in good standing.
So either all of the clubs have to be represented, or you need 7 judges.
Right. 5 at the area, 7 at division. Correct.
And the second question was, must all of the judges be of the area or division for which they are judging?
They do not. They cannot be a member of the same club as a contestant. They do not have to be from that area or division.
And we have another question. If you have only 4 clubs in the area, how do you get 5? Can the 5th not be from that area? And the answer is yes, that you can have a judge from outside of the area.
Correct. Now, the voting judge's responsibility is to use the criteria on the ballots to select the winner. And what I did when I was a chief judge last year was I emailed the
I'm sorry, folks, I don't know what she was about to say. How many of you recall the public service announcements? We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
I was about to say, I emailed the contest rulebook and the ballots to each of my judges so that he or she was aware of each of the criteria for each of the contests.
Can I see a show of hands? How many of you have read this year's rulebook or recently seen this year's rulebook? I see 1, 2, 3 hands up, 4 hands up. I still see a lot of hands down. While Jennifer goes on, you will see another place on your control panel for tonight's discussion where there are handouts. And what I will do is download the current edition of the handbook or the rule book and put it in the handout section so that you don't have to hunt around on the web. You can find it right away.
Right. And this is the most recent edition of the rule book. It's got Ramona Smith on the cover. It's dated July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. And it is the August 2019 revision.
And it's really important that it be the 2019 revision, the August 2019 revision.
Yes.
Yes?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Do we want to
You
say a
don't want
word
last
about
year's yearbook. You don't want last year's rule book, and you definitely don't want the March book. So what else will you need? You will need a chief judge. You can think of the chief judge as the compliance officer for the contest. This person confirms the judges are eligible to judge, briefs the judges and functionaries before the contest begins, oversees counting of the ballots, handles any protests if there are any. So this is a very important role. Another role that's very important is the tie-breaking judge. Now, this judge has the same responsibility as the voting judge, but to keep his or her identity a secret, this judge does not attend the briefing. So when I was a chief judge, I didn't think to do this. I wish I had. So a suggestion to anyone out there is to email the briefing to that tie-breaking judge so that he or she can read it ahead of time, since they won't be present at the briefing. Does that make sense? We have a contest master and contest chair. Now, the contest chair is the one who lines up the functionaries, the forms, arranges the room or delegates that responsibility, confirms contestant eligibility. And this is very important because if a contestant is found at a later level to have been ineligible at an earlier level, that contestant will be disqualified. And there were some people at the regional contest last year, I forget how many there were, who were found to be disqualified for ineligibility. If you can imagine winning your club contest, your area contest, your division contest, your district contest, and being disqualified for ineligibility at that stage, that's pretty heartbreaking. So for your contest chairs, please make sure that the contestants are eligible. And that can be confirmed either by calling or emailing Toastmasters International or on the Toastmasters website. There's an eligibility checker. And the contest chair also briefs the contestants before the contests. It is a lot of work, but it is an excellent leadership opportunity. It's an opportunity to work with a team. And if you've got enough people to help you, it's like who introduces the contest, introduces the contestants, interviews the contestants while the ballots are being counted. It's a fun role. You will also need a test speaker for the evaluation contest. The test speaker will give a 5 to 7 minute speech. It'll be a CC type speech or a pathways speech. The contest rulebook advises that the test speaker not be a member of the same club as one of the contestants. If you know someone who is looking for speeches in another area or division because they're on the hunt for their DTM this year, reach out to that person. reach out to an area director or division director around you in a neighboring area or division to help you find someone. But that person can be any paid Toastmaster. Your sergeant at arms is the person who opens the contest and controls the doors, keeps people in while the contestant is speaking, keeps people out while the contestant is speaking. And this is the person who will escort the evaluation contest in when their turn to compete arrives. You'll need ballot counters. You'll need 2 for the area and the division level. And this person, or these people, I should say, will count the ballots with the chief judge, reports tallies on the form that's provided to them. Last functionary are the timers. There are 2. One controls the stopwatch and the other controls the signaling device. Lastly, you'll need the logistical stuff. Is that a word? Well, it is now. Refreshments.
It's a word enough.
Word enough. I like that. I've got food first because I like food. Everybody likes food.
Yes, we have another question, and I'm going to try to answer this while Jennifer's call is not working. The question is, can a retroactive disqualification occur if a lower level contest is found not to have followed all rules, such as having a proper slate of judges? It strikes me as a complicated question because we know that a disqualification can occur if the member is ineligible to compete in a district or a regional contest. And in theory, they could be disqualified for an area contest, a division contest, or even a club contest. However, the disqualification is based on eligibility and originality rather than the technical structure of the rules. The rules are supposed to follow a good faith effort, but there is no procedure in the rules themselves for disqualifying the performance of a contest. And this, it strikes me, as a flaw in the rules as I understand them, and it is worth Toastmasters International taking a look at, but there's no procedure in the rules for disqualifying an entire contest at one of the lower levels. There may be ways of disqualifying the entire contest at, I would say, division or higher level by appeal to Toastmasters International, but even then, I think that that's a complicated failure in the rule book. Jennifer, are you back on the call yet?
I don't know. You tell me.
Ah, yes, there you are. How did I do on that? Were you able to hear me?
I heard you, and I would concur. Although what I'm going to do, I am going to call Toastmasters because that is an excellent. Because I don't see any mechanism. All I see and see again is once results are read, all decisions are final.
Right.
But
so you can protest that the contest was improperly run before the results are announced. But once the results are announced, that's kind of the end of it.
'tis my understanding, but I will call and get an answer. So I do believe I was talking about programs when I dropped out, and golly, I wish I knew why that happened. But programs help make contests into events. Programs convey that this is something special. And in those programs, you can thank the functionaries by name. Don't thank the judges by name. Ideally, according to the rule book, voting judges at all levels must remain anonymous when practical, which is kind of funny, but the person holding up a ballot better be a judge. I would suggest not listing the test speaker in the program. That's not a rule, but I would consider that a best practice. I was a test speaker at a contest once, and I was sort of hounded by a contestant before the contest. She may have just been making conversation, or she may have been trying to get some inside information on my speech. Whatever it was, it made me uncomfortable. And if it wasn't known that I was the test speaker, that would not have happened. The last
And I think we've lost her again.
So, as I was saying, you'll want to make sure that the AV will conform with any rules that the venue has on audiovisual or anything like that. You want to make sure that there's no restrictions that the venue has. I can't imagine someone would want fire as a prop, but it could happen, and that would probably run afoul of rules of your venue. There are a number of resources to help you as you go along. The first you've seen already, and Andrew has sent you the link, the 2020 rule book. Another resource is the Toastmasters District 53 website, which has the division and area schedule. We'll next have the results. There are a number of contest aids and kits here. Scripts, briefings, links to webinars. If your venue requires an insurance certificate, this provides the link to the Toastmasters website to get it, and a number of other resources, including the kits that you will need, all the forms that you will need. The kits themselves are not available in paper form any longer, other than the certificates, but you can download everything that you need.
And the district itself will also provide you with trophies for both the division level and the area level. If I can add to that, this year we have made the decision as a district that we are going to offer the Toastmasters branded trophies. And we are doing this in part as a marketing effort, that the rule book specifies that the word Toastmasters cannot appear on a trophy unless it is purchased from the Toastmasters store. This year we chose to do that, and what we're hoping is that contestants, and particularly victors, will post pictures to their social media accounts of their trophies. So one, we want to get photographs of all of the contestants, and particularly the first, second, and third place winners with their trophies. And two, we want the trophies to be facing the right way in all of those photographs so that it's obvious that they are in fact Toastmasters trophies. And this is part of the marketing campaign for this year, is to generate that kind of content. So please At your area and division contests, please make sure that there is someone designated to be the photographer for the event, whose job it is to get photographs of contestants beforehand and victors afterwards, but not during.
And the trophies have to be facing the right way,
Yes, they do.
or the whole thing blows up. Another resource, the Toastmasters International website. You've got the speech contest rulebook, frequently asked questions, rulebook changes, another link to the kits. So information there as well. You can call Toastmasters. They're in Denver, so 2 hours behind. They're there into the evening, which is good for us. I have them built into my phone. I am one of your resources and each other. A number of you have been through this rodeo before, so help each other. It'll make it a lot more fun, and you'll share the wealth of knowledge that each of you has already. Lessons that I've learned. Starting early. Now, I was very fortunate with my venue in that I was at a TLI, said, hey, this would be kind of a cool place for an area contest, and had my contest for February booked by the end of August last year. Starting early and getting the team in place was important. I had a counterpart in Area 44 who was in a much smaller area and was struggling a bit. We made it a joint contest, and the wealth of the two areas made it a spectacular contest. We communicated quite often as a team. Once we decided to have the joint contest, we had a group email chain going, and we had a conference call once a week so that everybody knew what each person's responsibility was, what next steps were, and we were to check off tasks as they were completed. A lesson I learned, know the rule book. When questions come up, it was a lot easier to have a sense of where to go. Maybe I didn't know the answer, but I knew where in the book to look. That was important. And using the resources, the scripts and the briefings that are on the district website. I pestered August. I pestered a lot of people. So feel free to pester me. That's what I'm here for. My contact information is there. Feel free to use it. Use it early and often. Probably the cell phone is the best. That's my cell. You can call or you can text. And the email is there if it's not as time sensitive. Now, what questions are out there?
I don't see any questions unanswered in the question panel, but we have 2 hands raised from members of the audience, and I'm going to answer them in the order in which I saw them go up. So the first person that I'm going to unmute is Bob Kirkendall. Bob, you have the floor.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, I'm sorry. I had my hand up from a earlier request for a response, so I have no question. Thank you.
Thank you very
though.
much, Bob. Our next question from the floor is going to come from Judith Hardy.
I was in the exact same situation. You asked who had whatever the question was, and I raised my hand. So I do have a question, but I can't find the exact wording. So I will raise my hand later if I get to it.
All right.
Or you can always ask it offline and I will answer you and get it to the group.
And our third question comes from David Coleman. David, you have the floor.
Okay, same story. It wasn't clear whether the up down was the state or the action. Okay.
Right. All right.
Okay, sorry.
We do have one more hand that just went up. So, Patty Walter, you have the floor.
Thank you. Just can you give me specifically where that eligibility is? I'm out on the site and I don't see it. So I know you said it was under district leadership heading.
Okay. Eligibility for judges?
No, eligibility for, you said there was on the
Oh.
international site, an eligibility marker to make sure that the contestants are eligible for our chief judges
Yes.
to verify. And I know,
I'm going to stop
I was-
sharing while
yeah.
I hunt and peck for a moment.
Yeah.
Stand by.
I just want to make sure I know where it is for the ease.
Yes. Start it at
I see where it
Leadership
is.
Central. It's under Leadership Central, I believe.
Yes, it is. I
Whereabouts?
found it. You want me to show?
Please.
Yes.
I'm going to have to change the presenter to me.
I just clicked that.
And of course, it needs me to show all kinds of things before it will let me do this. Hang on. How terrible. Here we go. Can you all see that?
I don't see anything. Oh, now we do. Thank you.
All right. So the way that I reach this is by clicking on Leadership Central. And I thought that it was under District Central, and it is not. It is here. It's on this tab, and you have to find it. It's in the first column of items under Leadership Central. And once you're there, it needs to do two things. It needs a member ID and it needs a last name. You can also check yourself. And it says that I am the Club Growth Director and I have been the Program Quality Director. And it should tell me that I am not eligible to compete in this year's contest. Because as a district officer, I am ineligible to participate in contests this year. All right. So it's fairly simple to use, but you need two pieces of information. You need the contestant's last name and you need the member ID number in order to be able to test them. All right.
Do you want to check mine just to see what it?
Yeah, mine doesn't say anything either, so then it's not. I'm not eligible, or whatever it doesn't say. But
So my member number 013 033
033
45
3
013
4
033 45.
5. And it says that you are currently a paid member and that you have you are not currently serving in a district leader role. Now we know that that's not true, that you're the chief judge. Jennifer, I'm telling you that you can't actually participate as a contestant in the contests this year.
Ah, shucks.
I'm
All
terribly
right.
sorry. However, this indicates that you are in fact a member of Shoreline Advanced Toastmasters and that you are a club officer in both of those clubs but that you're not currently serving in any of the ineligible roles.
Right.
And as a result, in theory, you would be able to participate in the contest, except of course that you're serving as this year's chief judge for the district, and consequently you can't participate. All right. Any questions about how the machinery works? Oh, we do have a question. Brian Kissel asks, if you're showing as paid until March 20th, you are in fact eligible. Now, coming back to the earlier point about ineligibility, if I let my membership lapse at the next dues period, and I don't pay until, say, April 20th, and I show up at the May conference expecting to compete, my membership has lapsed. And as a result, I am ineligible to compete. Right?
If the membership is paid by the contest, if you are eligible at the division level and eligible at the district level because the membership has been restored, I'm pretty sure you're okay, but I'm going to double check that with TI as well.
All right. I think that that is a good one to check up on, because that would be one of those places where you could in fact get tripped up.
Tripped up, absolutely. So as a division director, well, here's the thing though, Andrew. The contests are rolling through March. So it'd be very easy for the division directors to make sure that their contestants are paid prior to the contest. And then there's nothing to worry about.
That's right. So it becomes particularly incumbent on division directors to make sure that contestants in March are paid, or to remind them to make sure that they get paid up before the deadline.
Right.
And also to make sure that their club
about.
remains in good standing through the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're part of a club that has only 8 members and 4 of them don't renew, but you're the district or the division champion, you have to make sure your club survives the transition point. Get all your friends to join the club. Keep your contestantship alive. We have another question from Judith, so I'm going to take her off of mute.
It isn't actually a question, it's an answer to the question that we've been discussing. On page 6, under 2, eligibility, section A, and number 1, small b, it says a new, dual, or reinstated member must have dues and membership application current with World Headquarters. So in your case, as long as you are current with World Headquarters, even if you're a reinstated member, you are eligible.
That would
Very
appear to
good.
answer the question.
Very good. See, know your rule book. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you remember your question, or how you wanted to?
Yeah, it has to do with a question about how many clubs in your area, and if all have to be in good standing, if one of the clubs has fewer than 8 members, then can I still hold an area contest? Or do I have to have judges from each club?
So you still have your area contest. You don't have contestants from that club. That club can still send judges, assuming they meet the eligibility requirements of being paid themselves and having the required number of speeches. And if you need to fill in with outside judges to get to your 5, that is allowed.
But must I have judges from each club?
If you have a minimum of 5, ideally you will have a judge from each club. It's a good best practice if you're sending a contestant, send a judge. But if you have as equal representation as possible and need to fill in from outside, you're allowed to do that.
All right. I may be sending you an email.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Or you can call me.
Okay.
We have one more question from Patty, and I have unmuted Patty, but it appears that she's self-muted. So Patty, you have the floor if you want it. Otherwise, there we go.
I'm all set. I had the question and you answered it. It was where the leadership was. We already answered
Ah,
that one.
fantastic.
So I don't know. Maybe I didn't raise my hand. I'm sorry. Or put it back down or whatever I was supposed to do with it after I muted myself because I didn't want to make noise while you guys were talking.
Well, thank you very much. I don't see any more questions in the question panel. I don't see any more items on the chat window. I don't see any more raised hands. Are there any further questions or concerns?
I'm going to ask another question because now I'm really confused. Is
Okay,
that okay?
go right ahead.
So I'm reading on the procedures that Jen showed that it says no chief judge, voting judge, or tie-breaking judge must be a member of any club in which a contestant is a member. But yet we're supposed to have equal number of voting judges from each area in the division. So that means I guess maybe I'm confusing a little, or is that just at the division level?
So at the division level, you can't be a member of the same club as a contestant.
Okay,
At the
but
area,
you can.
you can.
Okay, that's where I was combining the two because I was getting a little nervous saying if I have to have equal judges, how can and the contestant? Now I get it. I was combining the two together. So thank you so much for clarifying.
Yeah, the fun doesn't start till the division level
I
as
don't
far
have to
as
worry
that
about
rule
that.
goes.
I'll let Steve worry about that one.
Scrubbing lists and okay, no, that person won't work because of that corporate club or that advanced club.
Thank you so much.
On a slightly different but relevant note, I had an area director ask why they had to have an area contest at all, and if there was only one contestant from any of the clubs, couldn't they just advance that one contestant? And I said no, because there is a provision in the rule book that allows the club to choose any method that they want for sending a contestant on. If they decide to hold a contest, they have to use the Toastmasters rules. But if they only have one person who wants to compete, or even if they have only 2 people that want to compete, they can in theory send both contestants without ever holding a contest. But the area contest in particular is the qualification mechanism that qualifies them for the contest. So divisions and areas must hold contests. There isn't the same kind of leeway as exists in the rules for clubs. So every area needs to hold a contest and every division needs to hold a contest because there's no mechanism for advancing somebody without that contest, even
Well
if there's
said.
only one contestant.
Then it becomes that contestant against the clock.
Right. Speaking of the clock, it's 7:50, and if there are no other questions, I suggest that we let all these good people go off and do whatever else they're planning on doing tonight.
Excellent. My contact information is there. Please use it. I look
Andrew,
forward to meeting you over the next several months.
Andrew, can you stay on for 1 second? This is Patty.
I can indeed.
Thank you.
Seeing nothing else, this webinar is dismissed. Oh, wait, I see one more question. Hang on. Thank you so much are the two messages that I have. So thank you very much for attending and have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Andrew?
Yes, give us just a minute, Patty.
Yeah, Patty. Sure, no problem. Thank you.